Okay guys, we'll start off this haul with another micro drone from this new company called Helifar. This is the Turtles 135mm micro. I believe this is for 3-inch props. So it does come with a little bit of documentation on the flight controller, and it looks like it's an F3 with an MPU 6000. And you get a video transmitter with power switchable up to 200 milliwatts. It doesn't look like it has smart audio or the tramp feature. It looks like it's all button selectable. And it looks like this is the version that has the XM receiver. Looks like they include some of these generic 3034 bladed props. They look kind of like an HQ clone. Okay, a little bag here with an XT30 connector. You get some zip ties and you get the prop nuts. Looks like it comes with an XT60. You can convert to an XT30 if you want to. So here's a quick look at it. Here's your receiver antenna, your video transmitter antenna, XT60 in the back. You got a buzzer and LED. Looks like you got a low deck here, so I think battery might go on top perhaps, but it looks like the battery strap runs on the bottom. So you could run it on the bottom or the top. This kind of reminds me of the BRDM Quads Nemesis X, but this is 3 inches, not 2.5 inches. You get some 1306 3100 kV motors. This is supposed to be a RunCam Micro Sparrow. There's the XM receiver on the bottom. Got your 20 amp 4-in-1 AC, Omnibus F3 flight controller, and your video transmitter in a nice little three board stack here. And it looks like the carbon is about 3 millimeters. So I'll have a full review on this coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned. Okay, so I picked up some of these micro battery straps from iFlight RC. Actually, you can pick these up on Amazon. It comes in a pack of 5. I believe these are 10 millimeters by 130 millimeters, so it's pretty good size for your micro-sized batteries. And it's fairly reasonable. I believe it's only like about $5 or $6 for this one. Okay, got another micro frame here from Banggood. This is for 2.5 inch props. It's got the vertical side cage style, and looks like a little bit of a stretch deck. I think it's 120 millimeters motor. Looks like it's fairly thin and bendy, but we'll have to see how it is in the review. Might do some sort of a Lizard 95 conversion to go from 2 to 2.5 inches. But yeah, I'll have a review on this frame and maybe a build in this coming up pretty soon. Okay, this is the Trident antenna from Real ACC. It comes with a micro FL connector. I believe this is similar to the Actuna antenna that I reviewed a few months back. But if you want to replace your linear whip antennas with something like this, this has a slightly better transmission reception than just a basic whip antenna. But I think it's a pretty inexpensive add-on option, and it's a pretty long little connector here if you want your antenna to extend further away from your frame. Okay, these are some new 1.8mm lenses. It's an M8 size. It's mainly for the Foxeer Predator micro camera, so if you've been having some jello issues with your camera, supposedly they've made improvements to the lens that fixes that problem. And apparently this lens will also work with the Aero Micro Pro if you want to go from the I think it's a stock 2.1mm field of view to the 1.8mm field of view. If there's any interest in seeing a video on this lens on the Aero Micro Pro, let me know if you want to know if the field of view is going to be that much different. I could do a video. Leave me a comment below. Okay, got another one of these, a new Foxeer Lollipop antennas. Looks like it comes with 2 in here. SMA connector, right-hand circular polarized. And I believe this is the shorter one, 59 millimeters. I believe there's a longer one that's 68 millimeters. Here's what it looks like. It's kind of like an Axie clone, I believe. I also believe that they're coming out with micro FL and MMCX connector versions as well in the future, so I should have those coming up, but I'll be just testing this out as probably as a receiver antenna to see how this does compared to the Axie antenna I usually use. Okay, here's a new little flight controller board for brushless motors. This will be for a brushless tiny whoop. It's from Racer Star. This is similar to the one I reviewed earlier that didn't have a receiver. This one has a receiver built in. So it's got the F3 flight controller with the Betaflight OSD, but this one has a built-in FreeSky receiver, so you don't have to add another receiver. So you do save a couple of grams here. And this one does come with more accessories than the other one that I reviewed about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It does come with the rubber grommets for mounting in your frame along with the screws, and you get different connectors here, micro low C, you get the 1.25mm connector and the 2mm connector, so definitely a lot of options here, but I do like the fact that it's a little lighter board here with the receiver built in, so we'll be reviewing this in one of my brushless builds pretty soon. Okay, so here's something from Happy Model. It's called the Trainer 91S brushless kit. So this looks like basically it's a build-it kit, and this one comes with a Spectrum receiver, interesting, or is it FlySky, FlySky, DSMX? I think it's the FlySky receiver, and the 0703 motor. Okay, as you can see here, you get a whole bunch of stuff in this kit. Obviously, it's the DIY kit, so you have to build it yourself. And it's a 1S brushless micro, and you get this really thin bottom plate here for the 0703 motors, I think. Okay, we got an all-in-one camera here with a little TPU, what looks like a 3D printed mount. And this is the flight controllers for 1S, and it's got the flight controller plus the 1S ESCs built into one board. A little micro buzzer. And this is a USB charger for the battery, and you can do two different types of batteries, 1.25 and 2mm batteries. It's probably high volt and regular LiPo switchable. And this is the FlySky receiver that they're including. I think this is the FS82. And there's the motors, the 0703 style motors, very tiny, with the, I think they have the 1mm motor stem, not the 1.5mm. You get a battery, some rubber bands, and a prop removal tool. This is a 1S 250 mAh, looks like it's a high volt. So it looks like they do include some instructions here, looks like it's in Chinese, with some diagrams on how to connect everything up. Should be fairly straightforward to be able to figure this out. I've done lots of builds, so it shouldn't be too hard. And they include some stuff on Betaflight configuration and setup. Anyway, I'll go ahead and put this together and I'll do a little build overview and show you some flight demo footage and an upcoming review, so stay tuned. Okay, so these are the new Topsky F7X version 2 goggles. So as you probably know, I got the version 1s, but they were not very good. And by the time I had a chance to actually review them, all the reviews had already come out and everyone had bashed it. So I didn't figure there was no need for me to make another review to just saying the same things everyone else was saying, because all the stuff that was out there before was absolutely true, wasn't very good. So I didn't actually make a video on it. But this is the version 2. Supposedly they fixed all the problems. I guess we'll find out if that's true or not. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got in the box. Okay, so it looks like it's still pretty similar to their first version. I'm not sure how much they've changed, but they included some instructions on how the buttons and everything work. Looks like they got the same nice case. Okay, you got some cables and accessories here. Looks like a HDMI to a mini HDMI along with an analog AV in and out cable. And this is the foam for the face mask. It looks like they've gone to a Velcro system, whereas I think before they were using some sort of like a wrap ties or something around the edge, which didn't work very well. And you got the same wall charger for the battery. This looks like the same battery as well, 2S 2200 mAh. It's like Fat Shark style with the barrel connector. It looks like you get the same omnidirectional antenna. The head strap looks about the same to me. And this is the receiver module that they're including. So obviously this is a different in terms of cosmetic appearance. Got the camouflage color scheme here instead of the, I think before it was just like glossy black. So that's totally different. So this is, I don't think this was available before. You still have the eye cups here, rubber on the one side, and then they've gone to the Velcro system here. And I think that one, other one is a spare. This one does feel a little bit thicker than the other one, so maybe that's a thinner version. You got this basically the same setup here with that little sensor there. IPD adjustments look the same. You got the barrel connector on the bottom, AV in. You got your micro HDMI, receiver on off, headphone jack, IPD adjustments. You got your on off switch for the fan. All of this looks the same as before, same buttons. So really just going to see if they fix the problems with like maintaining the channel, fan problem, and I think there's also some issues with the screen. So I guess I'll have to go over all that stuff in more in depth later in the review. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. I like the color scheme. This is like a soft touch plastic. Looks different, but we'll see if it actually functions any better than the first version. Okay, so we got another tiny whoop brushed racer here. This is the DL1080. This one here comes as a complete setup, ready to fly. Comes with a transmitter an FPV screen, batteries, so you don't need anything else. If you want to get into tiny whip flying, you can just buy this and it'll come with everything. But let's take a look what we get in the box. And it comes with an FPV screen. Looks like has a built-in receiver. You can change your channels and bands here. Looks like USB for charging, so probably built-in battery. 40-channel receiver. Looks like the antenna goes on the back here. Looks like an RPSMA antenna on-off switch. And this is the drone itself. Obviously 5.8 GHz FPV. Looks like it comes with a built-in receiver. I think it's a Spectrum-based receiver. This kind of looks like the Tiny 7. I think these are the 40mm propellers. This is probably like 75mm motor to motor. And I believe these are probably going to be 7 or 8mm motors. I'm not sure. Looks like you got one battery, micro low-C connector. And you get an extra battery here underneath and along with a USB charger. And this is the included transmitter. Obviously it's mode 2. Got some buttons here, a little tripod mount here. Pretty nice feeling. This kind of looks like the tiny X8 transmitter that you could flash to FreeSky, but I don't think this is the case for this one. It's like this one just uses standard batteries. The other one came with a LiPo, so it needs like 3 or 4 AAA batteries. And it looks like this is the mount for the screen. And this is the antenna for the screen as well. Okay, so we got another brushed micro drone here from Eachine, the QX90C Pro. I think this is an updated version of the QX90C yellow one that I reviewed maybe 6 months ago. I think this one has things like OSD, better motors. I think the receiver also has telemetry and RSSI if you have the FreeSky version. And I think as like they're doing with a lot of the products now, they have different editions or versions. They got a basic version, standard version, advanced version, and then they obviously have different receivers listed before, FreeSky, FlySky, DSM2, DSMX. I believe I got the advanced version with the FreeSky receiver in this one. Okay, so this comes with a bunch of stuff here. We got the drone itself with one battery. You do get a nice set of instructions. Looks like they got 4 additional batteries here for 5 batteries total. And you get this Charge Soon charger. It looks like it's a 5-port charger, so you can charge all 5 batteries at once if you want to. I don't know if it's high volt or not. I don't think it's high volt. And just say a 9 to 16 volts input charge, and it's obviously for 1S only. You got a DC here, and then you can also charge by USB as well. And this is a spare black frame. I think this is the bottom part of the frame. Okay, so here's the wall adapter for the charger with the barrel plug. That's the DC in. And it's rated 12 volts and 3 amps. And they're including 5 extra sets of spare props. It looks like there's some sort of an adapter for the charger. You got the barrel connector here, Dean's connector here, and it looks like an XD60 on this side. It's obviously if you want to charge in the field off of like a, probably like a 4S LiPo or something like that. And this is the other part of the frame here. This is the canopy along with the camera mount here. I think that's because the camera is tilt adjustable, and then they include a Phillips head screwdriver. Here's just a quick look at it. Obviously they got the Ladybird props here, 8.5mm motors. You got your FPV system here, so it's an all-in-one camera with video transmitter on the back. And don't know what the flight controller is in there. It looks like it's kind of buried in there. I can't see it, but it's supposed to be an Omnibus F3 with an OSD, 1S power, obviously here with the battery, and it looks like the batteries are 600 milliamps. Anyway, lots of stuff here, and I'll have a full review on this coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned. Okay, got another set of goggles here. I think these are called the Falcon Fly Sight. And inside the box they just come in a pretty nice case with a little carry handle. So it looks like you got a bunch of adapters here for charging. I think this is XD60 to a barrel connector adapter, and then you got a little barrel connector adapter the other way as well, and then you got also AV in cable here, and another longer barrel connector to XD60 adapter. So this is the battery case. It's supposed to use 2 18650 lithium ion cells, and so you stick those in here, and this obviously connects to the power port, and you got a little balance lead. So you got some spare foam here. Pretty nice strap. It's pretty soft. Yeah, this looks very much like a Fat Shark, like the one I have right now, the Dominator V3s, or a lot of the Fat Shark series. So I'm not going to go over all this in detail right now, but you can just get an idea of what it looks like. Pretty Very similar looking to a Fat Shark goggle, but it supposedly has 16:9:43 switchable viewing. It's got a built-in DVR. I don't think it has a receiver. I think that's how Fat Sharks come as well. But it does have the module bay for the diversity receivers if you have that, but it doesn't have the head tracker bay on the other side. So it looks like you have to use like things like the Furious FPV or the LaForge with the diversity two antennas on the one side. Anyway, I'll have a full review on this coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned.